Valentine's Day. A day for love, romance, gifts, sex, blood, guts, murder, and revenge. That's pretty much what's going on in this movie. And Jeremy Milton is definitely a Scorpio.
I like it spooky.
Hey, what's up, hardheads? Welcome back to my channel. Happy Valentine's Day. Last year, I talked about My Bloody Valentine 3D, which was a fun movie to talk about. I love that movie so much, so if you missed that review, I'll post it right up here. Check it out. Today, we're talking about Jamie Blank's film, Valentine. Now, Valentine was one of those movies that got lost in the crowd of slashers in the late 90s, early 2000s because of Scream. Scream was such a huge hit. Then we got Urban Legend and all these other copycats. And Jamie Blanks actually did Urban Legend, which I love, and he did this film. And you can definitely see some similarity there due to Scream, thanks to Scream actually. This movie wasn't Scream. Scream was fresh, it was super meta, it paid homage to other horror movies before it. Even though that Scream was a huge hit, other slasher films after it was trying to copy it or copy that same formula. And I'm not gonna say that these movies aren't fun because they're a lot of fun, but when you watch films again like Urban Legends and this film right here, you think of Scream. I mean, it's a whodunit. You're trying to guess who the killer is. You're trying to guess who the slasher is. We didn't really get too much of that before Scream, so now after Scream, we got all these copycats, and some of them are hits and some of them are misses. Unfortunately, I think these were misses to some people. I actually have a lot of fun watching these films, so I'm so happy to talk about Valentine. And if you're unfamiliar with Valentine, this movie is about 5 women who's being stalked by a killer wearing a Cupid mask. Now that sounds super familiar. And I must say, watching this film again recently, this cast is stacked. You have Denise Richards, Marley Shelton, David Boreanaz, Katherine Heigl. So you have a lot of people, a lot of familiar people in this movie. And when you see a big star-studded cast like this, you think this movie is going to be amazing. But this came out in the early 2000s, so therefore a lot of these actors weren't in the height of their career just yet. Most of them were just starting, most of them was in the middle of their career, and you know, they weren't as big as they are now. But now we know most of these names. Speaking of this cast, the women in this film to me are insufferable. I feel like they all must go, except for maybe one that I felt bad for. But other than that, Denise Richards, I love her. Gorgeous woman, talented. Obviously, she's playing this, I guess, promiscuous girl. Even though she's not really promiscuous, she just comes off that way because she's super hot and all the men love her. But she comes off as a badass, which I actually do enjoy. So she's one of the characters I'm okay with. But then you have Lily and Shelly and then Dorothy. And Dorothy, I kind of resonate with her just a teeny bit. Well, I'm not going to say I resonate with her. I actually feel bad for her. Then you also have Kate, who's just oblivious to everything in the world. And Kate is played by Marley Shelton. And Marley Shelton did a great job playing this role too. Yes, she's the final girl in this film. Spoiler alert. But I feel like she didn't deserve that crown as a final girl. Also, I just didn't feel connected to her, and I actually felt like she was more annoying. Usually characters like Kate, the real ditzy ones that's just oblivious to everything, just kind of just like do, they kind of get killed off. Unfortunately, she survives, and I guess I'm just one of the few that wanted her to die off and maybe wanted Denise Richards to survive. I like Denise Richards' character a lot, but she did deserve what she got to. And speaking of what the characters deserve, they all deserve to die. They're bullies. Even as adults, they still don't learn. They're still childish. And at that point in your life, you should know what's right from wrong. And unfortunately, most of these women are still kind of mean for no reason. So let's rewind to the beginning of this film. So in the beginning of this film, you probably got middle schoolers who celebrating Valentine's Day at a dance. And you got this young boy asking different girls out to dance. And they're all being mean to him. Now, I don't know what was happening prior to this Valentine's Day dance because we didn't get that far into the history of, you know, these children. But from what we see as viewers, you see these young girls being super rude to this kid just because he wasn't maybe hot, or he was a dork or a nerd, or maybe he was like a weirdo and we just didn't get that far into that character. They made it seem that way, but from a viewer standpoint, I felt like they were just being mean to him because he wasn't one of the cool kids. You see this little boy, Jeremy Milton, asked the first girl out for a dance, who is Shelly, and she says,
"In your dreams, loser."
"It's all good, Jeremy. We're gonna make sure she see you in her dreams permanently. Make her ass go night-night." And he approaches Lily, and all she says is,
"Ew."
See, Jeremy, I wouldn't sweat her because look how she's dressed. So remember that. We'll get back to her later. And then he approaches Paige, and her response is,
I'd rather be boiled alive.
Now the universe says they can make that happen. And then he approaches Dorothy, and she's sitting alone on the bleachers, and she actually goes and dances with him, make out with him, and they get called by these other mean kids, and she kind of just put him on blast, saying that he attacked her and she didn't want nothing to do with him and blah blah blah, and they start bullying him and just treating him like shit. And then we go fast forward to 13 years later when they're all adults. And now this movie set the foundation that this young kid is back for revenge to go after these women for treating him like shit when they were younger. And I say rightfully so. Now, I don't condone violence, but sometimes revenge is sweet. Especially when you're a young adult and you still have that same maturity as you did when you were like an 8th grader, you gotta go. So the super fun thing about this movie is when the girls is getting what they deserve. So we're gonna start back off with Shelly again. Shelly's on this date. The date didn't go well, so she go back to the morgue because she's studying to be a mortician or something, and she's attacked in this morgue. And I must say, when she's being chased by this killer who's wearing a Cupid mask, meanwhile, we did see the Cupid mask at the Valentine's Day dance when they were younger, so this is making a reprised role. And she's being attacked by this killer, and I will say, this character, Katherine Heigl, who's playing Shelly, made the most stupid decision ever. Now, I will say she deserved to die in this moment because who in their right mind would make this decision? So let's go into the morgue where we see these dead bodies, you know, because she's running from the killer, and they're all zipped up in these black body bags. So she has nowhere else to go. I mean, she could have thought of something. So she decides to get inside a body bag with a corpse, and the killer stabbing each bag, opening bags and stuff because he knows that she must be in there. And he gets to the final bag, sees Shelly, slits her throat, and drains her out and then leaves. Now, I must say, she deserved that. Hey, she's in here. You didn't think he was going to find you? Remember 13 years ago you said in your dreams? Well, night-night, Shelly. Night-night. Who makes decisions like that? Now, yes, if I have nowhere else to go, I'm not going to hide inside a body bag because, yes, he's going to check the body bags and see if you're in there. So maybe grab a weapon. Maybe hit him as soon as he come in. At least try to get him down so you can run out the door. Something smart, but no. You hide inside a body bag. You do get this kill of this man who's pretty much harassing Kate, and he's obsessed with her and her friends, and he gets an awesome iron death. I know that scene was edited in late into production, and you can definitely tell it was because it was random as hell, but it was a cool death. I mean, who actually gets death by an iron? And it seemed like it hurt because, I mean, it's an iron. So that was a cool one. And then also later in the film, we had this horrible mean girl that's not a part of this group, and we don't really know much about her, but she gets thrown through a shower, and then there's a shard of glass and gets her neck jabbed into the shard, and she's dead. And that was a cool death. I like that one a lot too. But let's rewind back to these other girls here. So next on the kill list is Lily. Lily is the one who did not grow up. She's still making fun of Jeremy Milton. Years later, somebody sent her a box of chocolate with maggots in it, and rightfully so, because your mouth is garbage and that's where maggots belong. Lily and Paige are trying to figure out who sent these boxes of chocolates with the card. The card was signed by J.M., so they're trying to figure out in school who they know with the initials J.M., and they come across Jeremy Milton. And Jeremy Milton, they still making fun of. And after years later, even Paige admits we were mean to that kid. Lily was just like, whatever, he deserved it. He was a creep. So, yeah, she deserves what comes to her next. Well, Lily's at this artsy party. She finds out that the man that she's talking with is a creep. He's making out with her, and he invites this girl to watch them. She's looked like she was about to masturbate while they were making out, which was creepy. But if you're into that type of thing, go right ahead. So Lily, leaves. She's upset, and all of a sudden, the Cupid face killer comes back with his nosebleed, and he takes his bow and arrow and starts shooting Lily up. Now, that death was so satisfying to me, not only because Lily got it, but come on, Cupid mask, bow and arrow, chef's kiss. All right, Jerry, this one right here, I would say leave alone. She just said ill. She didn't say nothing too wrong, but maybe give her, fuck it. In the gut. In the gut. So she got arrowed in the gut a few times, and she fell off a balcony and fell into a dumpster. And it's funny, right? Because, and it's super ironic, because when they were younger, she said ill when he asked her out to dance. But girl, guess who's ill now? Because you just fell into a dumpster. Ill. So next we have Miss Paige, who's played by Denise Richards, you know, Miss Sassy Pants, you know, Miss Hot Stuff on here. I got my life from this character. I liked her a lot, but I see what they were trying to do with her. Like I said, they try to make her the popular, sexy one, promiscuous one, but she just didn't give those vibes to me in this movie, and I liked that. So because she looked a certain way, maybe she did things in her past, it's like she's the stronger woman who don't take any bullshit, which I love a lot. But anyway, guess what, guys? Her dream came true because she was boiled alive. See, Jeremy, I feel like the other girls deserved it a little bit more, but hey, she wanted to be boiled alive, so let's make it happen. She decides to go inside a jacuzzi during the Valentine's Day party because, I mean, she's having a horrible night with people. And she gets attacked by the Cupid killer again. She gets stuck inside the jacuzzi because a cover goes over it. She getting drilled through the jacuzzi. And then the killer just said, fuck this, I forgot. She said she'd rather be boiled alive. So therefore, he takes the drill and throws it inside the jacuzzi. And guess what? Paige is boiled alive. I guess dreams do come true, and this is why I say Jeremy Milton is a Scorpio, because Scorpios love revenge, and that's what he's getting. 13 years later, it took him a long time, he didn't forget, he's coming back. Since we got Dorothy and Kate left, Dorothy's the next one on the list. Kate is being chased by this killer, and then she thinks it's her boyfriend Adam, because Adam's acting weird and fishy. He's an alcoholic. He just got all these things going on with him, and he comes off as this killer. You know, they made him the red herring in this movie because he has these mystery things about him. And unfortunately, you know, Kate doesn't believe when people were suggesting that he was the killer, even though his name is not Jeremy Milton, but she's like, I don't believe it. I was with him the whole time. I know his family, blah, 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 blah. And guess what, y'all? Adam was Jeremy Milton the whole time. I guess maybe plastic surgery, teeth fix, you know, change of address, change of name, change of everything. I guess that's what it took him 13 years. So he goes after Kate. She doesn't know this. Dorothy's missing this whole entire time. So then we go, oh, well, the killer's right there because Kate and the killer fell down the steps together. So there goes Adam. So what's going on? Adam is not the killer. Come to find out, there's Dorothy underneath the Cupid mask, but it wasn't really Dorothy. I know this may sound confusing, but let's go back a little bit. So everybody was thinking that Adam was the killer, which he was, but he just set it up that way. He framed Dorothy. So I guess in the scuffle somewhere upstairs, he probably got to Dorothy, put the costume on her, threw her down the steps with Kate, and made it seem like he was, you know, a person that needed to be saved and helping, you know, Kate out and things like that. By the end of the movie, it was revealed that Adam was the killer because he started to get a nosebleed. And now throughout the course of the film, every time the killer killed somebody, he got a nosebleed. So that showed right there that Adam was Jeremy Milton the whole entire time because of this nosebleed, and he framed Dorothy. And you know what? And she deserved that too. I kind of feel like Dorothy set up Jeremy Milton when he was younger. Like I guess she felt like she wasn't fitting in as well because she was the bigger one. She got all these insecurities, and she still had insecurities even as an adult, and she was battling that. I guess when she got put on the spot when she was making out with Jeremy, she felt some type of way. So she kind of set him up in that weird way. So I guess Jeremy didn't forget as an adult. He set her up, and now she's framed as the killer, and I absolutely loved it. Now, as a whole, I love this movie. Everybody deserved what they got. I loved it. It was amazing. It was great. Obviously, it's not the perfect movie. There's so many things wrong with it, but it's so much fun. It's definitely an annual watching for Valentine's Day. But I also have to say that, you know, the killer was super obvious. Even though they were trying to set Adam up as a red herring and maybe like two other people, it was evident that he was the killer. It was just super evident, you know. All the thoughts you had going through your head, 9 times out of 10, you were correct. Adam was the killer. He was Jeremy Milton. And it was no surprise at the end when it was revealed that was him. Now, to me, when I first seen this, I was surprised of how he set up and staged the whole thing, but I always knew that it was him. So there you guys have it, Valentine's in a nutshell. There's so much more to happen in this movie, but I just wanted to talk about the kills and Jeremy Milton because he's the MVP. And to me, in this movie, because way to go and get revenge on people that treated you like shit when you were in middle school. why not? So Valentine was a fun movie. I remember watching this for the first time, having a good time, and this time I even had a better time. I love urban legend. Jamie Blank's been killing it with these 2 movies, and I just wish I could see more of him right now as far as doing films. Valentine was a fun movie. It's a perfect slasher to watch during Valentine's Day. So if you're sitting here with your lover, your partner, whoever, watch Valentine. It's on Shudder right now, so check it out on Shudder and give it a watch and let me know in the comments below what you think. So my personal rating for this film, I'll give Valentine a 2.5 out of 5 Cupid masks, a hard head watch. Check it out on Shudder. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and happy Valentine's Day, guys. Have a good one. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe if you're new, show your boy some love, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.